It's October 19th, 2014. I'm here at the second annual Sierra Foothills Harvest Brew-Fest at the Jackson Rancheria Casino Resort. We have 12 breweries and 4 different wineries, and it's all for a good cause. Beer tasting, wine tasting to raise money for Second Generation. It's a nonprofit organization that helps kids in agricultural communities. So we're going to go and talk to some of these breweries. We're going to talk to some wineries, taste some beer, talk to some people. It should be a pretty good time. Stay tuned. All right, I'm here with Seth Seaver. He's the founder of Second Generation, and Second Generation is the organization that's going to benefit from the proceeds of this event. Now, you were telling me a little bit earlier that your organization focuses on helping kids in ag communities. Can you tell me a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, what we do is we, all the money that we generate in our group, we give it back to the kids at the fair during the fair time at their auction. So when they sell their animals, go through FFA, 4-H, or Grange, or Independence as far as that goes, we donate and donate the money that we make and raise the floors to make sure that those kids have an opportunity to do the project again next year and into the future. When I came up through 4-H and FFA and whatnot, money I used, I've bought vehicles with it. I bought my first house with it. It's all about market managing and planning for these kids.
So you're not only helping to develop the skills of future farmers in the United States, but you're also helping them learn job skills and independence and all those other positive skills? Well,
not us necessarily, but through the 4-H,
the programs.
Yeah, the FFA programs, the 4-H programs, the grain programs. It's important that those kids are in those because they do teach those skills. The life skills that these kids are going to need to go out in the future. And without ag, we don't eat. Nobody here eats. We don't survive. And it seems like ag is I don't want to say getting smaller, but I don't want to say that that it's blowing up like anything. We got to preserve agriculture, and by sending these kids out there into the real world atmosphere after they're done, and if we can help them in any way, we're going to need those kids. They're our future, so it's important that these programs strive, and stay alive.
So aside from, like you said, maybe waning interest in ag, what other challenges do these kids face or do the ag communities face right now that you're kind of trying to mitigate?
Well, you got to look at the water situation this year. We're in a pretty big drought. Everybody knows that. You got to save water, and even right now we're coming up. We're in October. Look at the pumpkin farmers. There's not as many pumpkin farmers out there this year. Guys raising pumpkins. It's because pumpkins take a lot of water. We get these dams built up. These kids going into agriculture, knowing the right stuff. I don't want to get on one side or the other about having to fight the environmentalists or anything like that, but doing it proper. These kids are the biggest environmentalists that you'll ever meet, but they're doing it the right way. We're showing them the process that needs to be done, and they understand how stuff happens. So,
no, it's great. And you were telling me that your organization's been around for 8 years. So can you tell me a little bit about what other sorts of fundraising efforts you have in the past, and maybe some stuff you have coming up that the audience might be interested in attending?
Yeah, we do a dinner each year in June. And that is our biggest, that's our moneymaker right there. The dinner in June is where we make the majority of our money. And it's the fourth weekend in June, fourth Saturday in June. Like I said, this will be our 8th year, I believe. And, the casino here, God bless them, last year they reached out to us and said, hey, we want to put on a Brew-Fest. Would you be interested if we, to come out here and help us out? And we'll donate some of the proceeds to you. And I said, absolutely, for sure. Hey, you got to have hops to make beer, right? Well, that comes from the kids.
Not just hops, but you got barley, wheat. Brewing in general is very close to ag.
Absolutely, you bet. You hit it on the head. And this year they got a couple of wine groups out here too, which is agriculture based. If you look around, everything starts with agriculture. So we don't want people to overlook agriculture, and when we started this thing 8 years ago or whatnot, I'm not to say that it felt like they were overlooking it, but I wanted to make sure that it never happened. Give these kids every opportunity to go to school. Make sure that they get all the education they can, so they don't have to be an auctioneer like me. Do a real job, and it's important to me.
So if anybody wanted to attend this event, how might they go about buying tickets, maybe getting some information?
Well, you can always go to our website. We have secondgenerationdinner.com, all one word. and there's always information on our website. But we always do pre-sale, sell tickets. Getting started up right now. We'll end up starting to send out flyers for donations and stuff right now. So yeah, you can always go to our website, or you can contact me on on my website at talkfast.net for my auction company, and ask around in the community, man. You can get a hold of me, I'll guarantee it.
All right, so you heard it here. secondgenerationdinner.com. Go out there, support the ag community, support kids in ag, and if you didn't make it this year, come next year, so at least it gives you a good excuse to have some beer for a good cause. Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely, thank you. You guys have a great day.
So you might be familiar with Dust Bowl if you've ever tasted their IPA, Hops of Wrath. That's pretty popular. You can find it in a lot of local businesses. Oh, so I was telling them about if they've heard of Dust Bowl, they've probably tried Hops of Wrath. That's one of your most important ones.
Yeah, that's our flagship IPA. First beer we ever made. It's about 50% of our production right now, and obviously IPAs are big on the West Coast.
So there's not, like I was talking about earlier, there's not a lot of breweries in this region in general. So
that's true.
I think it'd be interesting to find out, how did Dust Bowl come about? What led you guys to do it, and what do you got coming down the pipeline in the future?
So we started out in 2009. What got us started was our homebrewer, or our brewmaster Don was a homebrewer who won the Sam Adams Long Shot competition. It's a nationwide homebrew competition that Sam Adams puts on. He won. They actually bottled his beer. Our owner read about him and wanted to start up a brewery, so he called him up one day and asked him what he needed to do, and sent him to UC Davis to finish up his studies so that he could become a brewmaster. He finished the program, got the highest score in the world for his brewer's and distiller's exam that year. So I've got a super nerd for a brewer. He's really good at what he does. As far as coming down the pipe, we've been growing faster than we can keep up with our current brewery. We're on a 10-barrel system. We're going to do about 4,500 barrels this year. But we just broke ground on a new facility that we're building in Turlock. It's going to be a 65-barrel brew house. First year we'll do about 20,000 barrels, have the ability to grow up to about 40 to 60,000 barrels. So we'll start being able to fill some of that demand that we built up over the last 5 years.
That's awesome. It's really exciting for the region and for just small business in general to hear a story like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We love what we do. Coming from a small town in Turlock, we're all from that area. To be able to build craft beer in an area where, like you said, there's not a lot of breweries within 100 miles, it's just been a godsend for us. We've really enjoyed it.
So if there's potential Dust Bowl fans out there that maybe they've tried Hops of Wrath, Wrathchild, they want to go out, what are some of your other brews that are worth going out, trying, discovering if you want to become a Dust Bowl fan?
Well, as far as bottles go, I mean, if you're an IPA fan, Hops of Wrath, obviously we've talked about. Son of Wrath's our double IPA, and then Therapist is our triple IPA. That's the one that people are really excited about right now. It's a 10.5% 100 IBU IPA. That's actually very easy drinking for the style. Surprisingly, at 10.5%, our brewmaster does a really good job keeping the alcohol tucked away so that it's drinkable. The other one I would really recommend is Hobo Pilsner. It's a German-style Pils, traditional, 100% Pilsner malt, German lager yeast, German hops. We actually even use a decoction mash on it, which is a traditional German process of brewing beer. So very light, easy drinking, especially for around here in the warmer months when it gets really hot. It's kind of nice to have a light, crisp, easy drinking beer, and so that's the one that I've been enjoying the most.
No, I remember when we met last year, I asked you if there was a stout coming in the pipeline. You mentioned maybe. Any news on that?
Well, we've got a Russian Imperial Stout, Black Blizzard, which is our fall seasonal. So it's out in bottles right now in 22-ounce bottles and limited draft. I think most of the draft may be sold out at this point. We do a Nitro Stout that's on tap, but it's primarily only at our tap room in Turlock. And in the tank right now, we actually have a Pumpkin Pie Milk Stout that'll be coming out before Thanksgiving. And so it's our stout base with toasted pumpkin in it, nutmeg, cinnamon, clove, and then some lactose sugar to kind of boost the body a little bit and give it a little bit of sweetness.
So if somebody's heading out to go skiing this winter,
yep.
I mean, if we can ski this winter.
Hopefully we get the snow.
And they want to visit the brewery, what could they expect? Where could they find it in town?
If you want to come to Turlock and visit the brewery?
Yeah.
So we're on the corner of Main and Broadway in Turlock. We've got 12 different beers on tap. The nice thing about what we're doing right now is we do over 60 different styles of beer. So you could come in one week and then come in the following week, and you're going to have a completely different lineup. I mean, Hops or Rat's always going to be there. One or two of our other beers will always be there. But you're going to always find different stuff. We don't just do IPAs. We don't just do big beers. We don't just do dark beers. We do a wide variety of styles from all across the world.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to let you get back to helping your customers.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Good to see you again.
And I hope I can get out to visit you guys soon.
Anytime. You can give me a call. I'll give you a tour of the brewery. Come down, sample some beer, man.
All right. Thank
Cheers.
you very much.
Take care.
Yeah. All right, I'm here with Duncan from Firestone Walker, and if you remember beer tasting on the terrace a couple of months ago, that was when we first met and we tasted through their entire line. So how you doing, Duncan?
Doing good. Good to be back up in Jackson.
So you're back up in Jackson, you're pouring. Has anything interesting happened since we last met at Firestone?
Well, lots of new stuff. We have our farmhouse saison up here this time. So a nice light farmhouse saison that we're using a hop called Hallertau Blanc on, and that actually gives it a Sauvignon Blanc-like taste to it. So perfect for wine country up here.
So we got a light, crisp, like you said, Sauvignon Blanc type wine, beer, and you're back in the wine country. Cool. Anything else? Anything you want to talk about today? Anything exciting going on?
Yeah, well, we also have our IPA, our Union Jack IPA, and then we have 805, which is newer to the area, and just nice, light, refreshing beer. And we're really excited about a new bar that's opening up in Sutter Creek, and I think it's opening up in December, and it's going to be Firestone Walker Night on their grand opening, so looking forward to it.
So a new bar in Sutter Creek, Firestone Walker Night on their grand opening.
Yes, sir, and I don't know the name of the bar because I don't think they know the name of the bar.
I'm here with Bailey Burton with special events for the casino, and the casino always does a lot of interesting events, fundraising for the community, and this one is no exception. But as I understand, this is sort of your baby. You're the brainchild behind it. Can you tell us a little bit about what led you to put this together and how you feel now that this is number 2?
Yeah, so I'm interested in beer, and I started a Brew-Fest down in Fresno that really grew and was for a local community fundraiser as well. And so moving up here to Amador County about 5 years ago, it was always kind of a passion to be able to do that. When I started working for the casino about 2 years ago, they let me run with it. So it was really exciting to have a company say, yep, we'll back you up and choose a nonprofit and we'll get going and make it happen. So it is exciting to do it a second year. It's always nerve-wracking the first time you do it. So the little bit of the nerves was gone this time, and the turnout's great. I can't be more happy. So yeah, it's a really fun event.
So now it seems like there are some differences this year compared to last year. The big one, there's some local wineries here as well. Can you tell me a little bit about how that came about?
Yeah, so last year we only did breweries. We didn't have any wineries. And we just had a few comments from people saying, I wanted to bring my wife and she doesn't like beer, or I wanted to just bring something else a little bit more local. Although we are lucky in getting a brewery soon in Amador County, they couldn't show up today. We still wanted to showcase our county. So brought in a few wineries. It was funny, I thought we'd only get like 2, and I put out a few emails and got lucky and 4 people raised their hands. So we're excited about that, and that's a new element. We had a few breweries last year that were unable to show up this year, but we've actually grabbed a few new breweries as well. So it kind of leveled itself out.
So, and I know you're a big beer fan.
Definitely.
What are some of your favorite breweries here, and then what's some of your favorite kinds of beer?
Okay.
I know you don't like to pick favorites.
I know.
They're all so good.
I know. I can't because they're all so awesome in donating their beer and their time to come out here. Dust Bowl's kind of close to my heart just because it's as local as we can kind of get at this point. And Scott, who is the rep at Dust Bowl, is just a really, really cool person. Their Hops of Wrath is probably one of my favorite IPAs, and you're asking my favorite types of beer. I'm kind of an IPA drinker. I really, really like fresh hops, so anything that says like fresh on there that goes bad pretty quickly, I tend to lean towards. But lately, I've been kind of getting interested in sours, barrel-aged beers. So I'm kind of leaning that way, and there aren't many out just yet. So kind of picking around for that. Wasn't able to get the one brewery that I really like that does sours, but
Was it Russian River?
no, but I do like their barrel aged. The ones that comes out of Chardonnay barrels, awesome.
Yeah, they do have Supplication and Damnation.
And like Temptation.
Yeah.
There's like 3 of them, yeah. So, but they're such a wanted brewery, it's really hard to get them to kind of commit to these kinds of things.
You got to harass them for like 5 years straight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I like Dust Bowl. Sierra Nevada is it was kind of like a turning point for me when I was in my earlier 20s. Of course, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I mean, it's kind of a go-to. I really like Drake's. Ninkasi out of Eugene, Oregon. They're
all the ones that have really hoppy IPAs.
Yeah,
you seem
pretty
to
much.
like.
Those are like my favorites. Absolutely, yeah. A new one though is the Sand Dude. So I'm hopefully we'll get to try some out later today.
Wonderful. Well, it's for a great cause. We talked to Second Generation before. It's a wonderful event. Anything else you want to say to try to encourage people to come next year?
No, it's really fun, as you can see, and I really like the diversity. A little bit of an older crowd is kind of surprising. It's neat to see that there's other generations are getting into the craft movement, not just us youngsters. So it's kind of neat. So hopefully next year we'll have more and just keep growing.
You put me in a good mood because you refer to us as youngsters.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Bailey. I'm really excited you invited TSPN out.
Yeah,
so thank you very much
for coming. We appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day. All right. So I'm here with Aubrey from Sierra Nevada Brewing. Now, I recently went on a tour at Sierra Nevada, and I was just amazed with your whole operation. So I think just sort of because it differentiates you from some of the other breweries here, I'd love to hear a little bit about your whole setup and what makes it unique as a brewery.
So as far as Sierra Nevada goes, we're still small. We do a lot more production than some of the other little local breweries, but our business perspective is quality and quality of ingredients, and that's why I always bring out hops. We use whole cone hops. So that's what's different about us. We are more of a hop character in our beers, so pale ale is what we're known for, and our Cascade hops are that flavoring, that aroma to it. So our whole cone hops are kind of what we're all about. That's kind of what sets us separate from other people. So we're all about making quality craft beer. It's got to be consistent no matter how many times you try it. So that's really what we're about, consistency and quality.
Now, what I remembered being really interesting about the brewery was some of the green technology and how resourceful you guys were about reusing the yeast and the barley. And just is there anything interesting you can tell people about that? Because if they don't know, it's pretty exciting stuff.
So we have over 10,000 solar panels at the Chico facility. And so on the weekends, we're definitely over 100% sustainable, just with those solar panels alone. We do have 4 different fuel cells that also give us power and energy. And then we also use and contain our spent nitrogen or gases that we use. So instead of reusing all that CO2, we hold it in little balloons, basically, and we use those for CO2 in the tap room. So we are very, very sustainable. And then with our barley, our spent grain, we reuse those for the local cattle in the area for them to munch on and really get a good feed on. So, yes, the hops, as far as like spent hops, you can't really feed those to cattle very much, but it's all about the grain. So we are very sustainable, and that is what we're about. We're a large footprint as far as the brewery goes, so we use a lot of water. And then that's why we're out giving back to the environment. We're very environmental. We want to give back to the surrounding area. We're all about the mountains, and that's where Ken Grossman, our founder, built his brewery, about making quality beer and then also giving back to the environment.
It just amazed me to think when I was eating dinner there that the barley that made the beer I was drinking also fed the cows that I was eating.
Yeah, so it is a nice little circle. We do feed the cattle, but then we also buy the meat back for the brewery to use the pub. So it's a nice circle. We feed them and then we eat them.
So if you've been in the region for a while, you've probably had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And if you've been to college, you've probably had Torpedo. Aside from that, what are some other beers that our viewing audience might find in their local liquor store or store that they can use to sort of explore the larger Sierra Nevada portfolio?
So a lot of people are very familiar with Pale Ale and Torpedo. It's kind of what we're known for, but we do have a lot more beers. So tonight we do have Porter, which is a malt-driven beer. A lot of people know Sierra Nevada for hop-driven beers. Porter you can find year-round in a 6-pack We do have it in a snow pack, which is a variety pack for the holiday season. And then I brought out Vienna style lager, which is more of a European style lager, a little bit different, fits in for the Oktoberfest. We do have a Bavarian style Hefeweizen, so that one.
Kellerweiss?
Yeah, our Kellerweiss. So that one is offered in 6 packs as well. In Northern California, you can get Old Chico, which is a crystal wheat, and that is very special to Northern California. You can't get it anywhere else. You can't get it in Northern California, you can't get it in Southern California. So if you ever get a chance to try Old Chico, highly recommend it. A little bit of a hot bite to it, but it's a great, light, crisp beer. 4.8 on the ABV. Great beer.
I just gotta say, I don't like Hefeweizen, but I love their Hefeweizen, and I think it's really underrated. If you don't like Hefeweizen, you'd probably even like this.
Oh yes, try Kellerweiss. Great beer.
All right, well, hey, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to coming back again and seeing what happens in the next 10 years of innovation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm here with Adam, the Senior Tasting Room Associate at Andis Winery, and Andis is one of the 4 local wineries featured at the Brew-Fest. So, how does it feel being at a beer place and one of the wine guys?
Well, it's kind of strange right now, but the great thing about it is that we really do cater to the people that aren't here for the beer. A lot of people came here for beer, but a lot of the people they came with like beer but don't love it, and we kind of cater to those people. So it's kind of nice to have a different variety of things to drink right now. So right now I'm happy about it and we're proud. Yeah.
So I know Andis over the last few years has been featured in I think like Wine Enthusiast or Wine Spectator and Sacramento Magazine and winning awards, some features. Can you tell us a little bit about all of that, all those accolades that have been coming out lately about your winery?
Yeah, so basically the past year and a half or so we've been getting extremely great reviews for all of our wines. And it's gone from everything from the San Francisco Chronicle, we got 91 points, and from Wine Enthusiast for our Estate Zinfandel, and we got a double gold for the San Francisco Chronicle International Wine Competition for it. And then recently we were just publicized in our Wine Spectator magazine. And then we were just put into a couple different local features in newspapers around the area soon. So it's been really nice. We're proud of all the scores, and we're just keep on going. We're just reaching for higher numbers.
So when I think of Andis, I think of Sauvignon Blanc and Barbera and Zen.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to explore deeper into your collection, what are some of the other things you'd recommend sort of going to after those 3?
Right now, I'd highly recommend a Grenache. Grenache, a lot of people aren't familiar with it. It's like a Pinot Noir. It's a very light red, so it's that perfect wine to help you get into that, the red wines during wintertime. A lot of people drink their whites during summer, and then they transition to reds during wintertime. But during the fall right now, it's perfect for Grenache. It's a really light red wine. And then right now, my favorites are 2010 Petit Syrah that we're actually serving here. And we also have Mourvedre, which is a great medium-bodied red wine, which is one of my favorites. I love it.
So it's been a pretty exciting last few years at Andis.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of things can local wine fans expect to see on the horizon next few years from the winery?
Oh man, I would expect to see new varietals coming out from us, better wines, just better quality, since we are such a new winery that we're just getting now to learning to perfect our equipment that we have. So I would expect better quality wine from us, higher rewards and scores from all the publications, things like that, and better tap wines and more tap wines to come.
So more tap wines.
Yes.
So that growler, can I call it a growler?
Oh, absolutely.
Can I call it a growler?
Oh, absolutely.
That growler that I have will be filled with more than just Barbera coming down the pipeline.
Coming up, Petit Syrah, Cab Franc, Sauv Blanc's on there right now, and it's our #1 selling wine. So it's going to be fun.
I'm going to start to put a little money aside every month to get ready for that.
I wish I could.
All right, thanks again, Adam.
Absolutely.
It was good to see you again.
You as well.
And thanks to Andis and all of the other wineries coming and representing.
It's a great event, and we're proud to be here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Patty from Hainer 24, and it's pretty exciting because this is a brewery I've never tasted any of your beer. So can you tell me a little bit about what Hainer 24 is, where you're from, and what's your claim to fame is?
Okay, so we're from Redlands, California, San Bernardino County down south, and our claim to fame would be like our aviation theme. Ben Cook, our owner, he is a pilot and loves planes. So I think the best thing about our beer, and something that all of our beers have in characteristic, is the water that we use. It has a nice dry finish that cleans off the palate nice and dry. It's a great to pair with food. And we like to take ingredients from our area, like, for example, Palmero, which is our Belgian double. We use dates from the Coachella Valley, which is very close. And our claim to fame would be orange wheat, which is an American wheat style ale. And then we use 250 pounds of oranges that are locally grown navel oranges. We puree the whole batch, so no artificial ingredients are involved in our beer. So it's a nice, refreshing, effervescent beer.
So if I were tasting your beer, it would almost be like sampling some of the local ag in San Bernardino.
Exactly. We take a lot of care into every beer that we have. Like, all of our brewers really look for the best malt, for the best hop that will complement what we're trying to make. So we have a lot of different styles available. And the thing that I love about Hanger is that it's accessible to every craft beer drinker. The ones that just starting out and the veterans that like their really hoppy, bold, and interesting beers.
So if locals here in Amador County, the viewing audience, they wanted to find your beer, where could they go, and what types of varieties would they expect to find?
Okay, so right now, because in Northern California, we just got distribution about 2 years ago. We're slowly getting bigger. I'm part of their new team in NorCal. So right now you can find us in Bevmo's, Whole Foods, Rayleigh's, Total Wines up here in the Sacramento area. So we're trying to expand our area, but right now what you can find at most of those stores would be our Orange Wheat, that's our flagship, Double IPA, our Chocolate Porter, and some of our seasonals. Right now it's our Oktoberfest, and then we're going to come in with our Hullabaloo, which is our Scottish Ale.
So you're from Southern California?
I'm actually from San Jose.
Okay, so you're NorCal.
Yes.
So you're like...
I hella am.
Okay. So she's okay. You could buy their beer because she's from NorCal.
I know what I'm talking about.
All right. Hey, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day. I'm here with one of my favorite breweries, Rick from 21st Amendment. I mean, we're talking Brew Free or Die, Back in Black, He Said, Bitter American. You've seen them in the stores, and now you got to find out more about them right from the source. So why don't you tell anybody not familiar with the brewery a little bit about where you're at and what your roots are and what makes you unique as a brewery.
Sure. So we're a 21st Amendment brewery. We're out of San Francisco, California. We're located 2 blocks from AT&T Park. We've been around since 2000. We're the 50th largest craft brewery in the country, and all of our beer comes in cans. It also comes in kegs, which we consider giant cans, is all they are. The reason why we package our beer in cans is cans are a much friendlier and better packaging vessel for the actual liquid than bottles are. They don't allow any light inside. Brown bottles still allow 20% of UV rays in, which can skunk the beer. Doesn't allow any room for oxidation. And nowadays the cans are so well lined that you don't get that metallic taste, that old stigma of cans add a metallic taste to beer. Cans are also not cheap, where there's also that old stigma as well. But we're growing extremely fast. We're in the process of building a $51 million brewery in San Leandro right now, which will be open in the first quarter of 2015. So we're really excited. When 2015 hits, we're going to hit the ground running, and we're going to be a major player in the market.
So we've heard from a lot of different craft breweries today, just like you, that are expanding California, adding jobs. I'm actually more excited about the beer itself. So if people aren't into 21st Amendment Brewery, what's a good way for them to get into it, and what kind of things can they find in their local supermarket to sort of explore what you have to offer?
So a good way to get into craft beer, I mean, if you're kind of a pale light lager drinker, if you will, if you're a supporter of the super light, watery mega breweries, one good way to get into craft breweries such as 21st Amendment or our friends at Lagunitas or our friends at Drake's is experiment, take baby steps. Maybe step into a wheat beer, which might be a very approachable craft beer style, and then expand from there. What do you like about the wheat beer? Do you like that bigger citric malt character? Maybe try to expand into IPA to where you might get a citric hop character. If you go the other way and like something dark, maybe if you've tried Guinness and enjoyed the roastiness or the maltiness, you can expand from that roastiness in Guinness and maybe try our Back in Black, which is a black IPA. It's the best of both worlds. It has that hoppy IPA character, but it also has the roasted malt backbone of a stout or a darker beer. Baby steps, find out what you like and expand from there. But, you don't necessarily have to stick with pale light lager. You can be a craft drinker if you just allow yourself to enjoy it and approach it with an open mind.
So I noticed that Sierra Nevada, they got those taller cans. Do you guys have taller cans coming out of the pipeline too?
We will. In 2015, we're going to come out with a 19.2 ounce single serve can. I can't pull back too much of the curtain because we got a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipeline, but I assure you what's going to come is going to be very exciting. So keep an eye out.
So 2015, the cans will be large enough to where you don't ever have to leave your couch. So good to know.
Pretty much. Unless you're me, you still leave your couch several times to get multiple of the giant beers.
Awesome. Well, I love the brewery. Always fun talking to you guys. Thank you very much for your time.
You bet. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, see ya. So, Haley, who's New Glory? What are you all about? And why should everybody go and try to drink your beer?
Well, New Glory's been around about a year and a half. We opened a tasting room about 7.5 months ago. We are located off of Power Inn, just south of 50 in Sacramento. Right now, we are carrying about 15 different beers in my tap room. Everything we do is very balanced, delicious beers. We have, I would say, we just completed an expansion. It's about 4 times the size of what we started with. So our first year, although it's still new, we've done a whole lot. We're looking to expand probably in a couple more years. Yeah.
So a year-old local brewery, still pretty small?
Yeah, I would say, in comparison to some of the big guys like Sierra Nevada, of course, yeah, we're not quite nano, but we're still micro, definitely.
So you're above nano, but you're in the micro zone for sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I come to your tap room in Sacramento. I want to explore. I want to get the real New Gloria. What should I try?
So our flagship beer is called American Country. It's a farmhouse style. If you're familiar with that, it's kind of an American version of a Saison. It's just a really easy drinkable beer. Lots of banana kind of citrus notes. And I would also recommend our red. We have a rapid fire red ale. It's just a perfect balance of malty, hoppy. Great beer.
So what led you guys to put together a brewery in Sacramento?
Sorry, what was that?
Well, what led you guys to put together a brewery in Sacramento? What was the genesis of the idea?
Well, the owner, he moved here from France just over 10 years ago. Didn't know much about the beer scene, especially the craft beer scene. Started working for a local distributor. Fell in love with the whole idea of beer, everything about beer, wanted to make beer. So he started in his garage. Eventually it led to a bigger operation, and now he's doing mass amounts of beer.
All right, so you heard it here first. New Glory, Sacramento. If you head out there right now, you can discover it before it was cool. You can be the first person in your group of friends to talk about their farmhouse. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to coming out and trying your stuff.
Great, we'll see you soon.
All righty, I finally found somebody willing to talk to me. Thank you very much. This is Jeff. Jeff likes beer. I like beer. So tell me, Jeff, are you having a good time here, and what do you like about it?
I'm having a good time. It's a great event. Tons of beer and great food, good band. So I'm having a good time.
So beer, food, band. What kind of beer do you like? What kind of a beer drinker are you?
I'm drinking an IPA right now, but I'm really digging the Oktoberfest beers that they have. So
you're hitting up some Oktoberfest, some IPA. What's been some of your favorites so far? What stands out in your head?
Let me look. Dust Bowl, very good. Also, I just tried this here, Sand Dune. So it's really good.
So what brings you to Jackson? Are you a local guy or sort of visited the casino?
Yeah, I live in Burson, but I'm close. But I haven't really paid attention as far as local or not, but I do enjoy the beer.
So you heard it here, Jeff, local, beer, food, all good. And if Jeff is having a good time, then you probably would if you came out here next year. So thank you very much for talking to me, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right. Alrighty, I'm here with John from Sand Dune Brewery, another brewery I've never tried before, so I feel like a novice here. I don't know anything about any of this stuff. So Sand Dune's in Turlock, California. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you are, what you do, why somebody could come out and try your beer?
Sand Dune was based on a name that I got about 30 years ago. It was a nickname I got from going to the beach a lot. I just started making beer for the love of beer. Wanted to make some beers that I liked and could drink, and that's how the brewery got started. We started really small. We've been in business about 3 years. We just actually started doing our bottling last week. We'll be in about 60, 70 stores in the next month.
In the next month?
Next month, yeah.
So this is it. This is the ground floor of the explosion.
Yeah, we're just on draft right now. We're at about 60 draft accounts right now. We're in from Sonora all the way to Stockton, down to Merced, basically the Central Valley.
So if I've never tried any Sand Dude anything before, where's a good place to start?
Right now, a good place to start would be at a local bar or restaurant, wherever they have draft.
Oh, I mean in your lineup of beer.
Oh, to start. Yeah. Our blonde is our lightest that we make. Our double IPA is our not our heaviest, but our most alcohol. It's 8% alcohol. And then we also have a brown ale and brown and an amber that we do as well, which is about 5% and about 5.5%.
I love these bottles. What's the inspiration for all the amazing artwork you got here?
This is all beach-themed labels, all direct print. Art. The bottle should be its own POS. When you see it in a store, the bottle should make you want to buy it. And then the beers should be as good as the bottle.
So even if you don't like the beer, you can use the bottle for decoration.
Yeah, and actually a lot of people take these and cut these off now and make glasses out of them.
So you can discover them from Stockton down to Sonora, buy the bottles, make glasses, just the whole package.
Yeah, we're a big enough brewery. Actually, they do about 20 states. So
wow.
Yeah. So in the next 6 months to a year, we should be saturating California.
Wow. So I guess this is really like, if you want to get into it now, then you could, just like some of these other newer guys, be a fan before everybody else gets on the bandwagon.
Right. Yeah.
Alrighty, so Sand Dude, look for it. It's going to be the next big thing. Nice to talk to you, John.
Thank you.
So it looks like we had a great time here at the second annual Sierra Foothills Harvest Brew-Fest. Some amazing breweries, some new discoveries for me, new breweries on the scene, local wineries. Everybody's having a good time. Nobody really wanted to talk to me, but hey, that's because they're having such a good time with the beer. Why would they want to be interrupted? So if you didn't make it out this year, definitely make it out next year. You'll probably see me there shoving a microphone in your face, but it'll be okay because you'll have plenty of good beer to ease the pain. So I'm Stephen Curtis with TSPN, and I had a really good time, and thanks for joining us.